Okay. I did some action research on fourth graders' retention and multiplication facts. We had about 2 weeks, which we had some snow days, so my data is not all what it should have been. The reason I was choosing to do this is because elementary teachers are looking for other ways for kids to retain their facts. And also to see the validity of the multiplication time test. Is it really a valid assessment to use to time them and take it up and give back to them? What I did is I gave my fourth grade class a multiplication time test 3 times a week with results recorded, which less than that was given due to snow days we had. And what I used to achieve my goals was 100 basic multiplication facts in random order, given 3 minutes for 3 times a week. The purpose was to see what effect daily multiplication time tests would have on fourth graders' retention of facts. Literature review, I kind of learned some new things with this. I did not know that there was something called dyscalculia. It's a math learning disability that could explain math fact deficiencies. Learners could also be hypersensitive to interference, meaning they would have difficulties in storing their math facts. Didn't know that either. Learning math facts involves sequential learning of similar associations. So like if they had issues with addition, subtraction, like just your basic facts, adding and subtracting them, they're probably going to have issues with multiplying basic facts. Another review was there was some evidence that showed time tests could negatively impact accuracy and efficiency. And I kind of think that is you hand it back to them and they feel defeated when they only have 20 right out of 100. And then you give it to them again and maybe they don't improve. So then therefore they are kind of defeated and want to shut down and not really work on their facts because they feel like they can't do it. Time skill-based assessments seem to be commonly used still to measure achievement in math facts, meaning your accuracy and your efficiency. There are other formative assessment strategies that can be used to better help their fluency in math facts, such as interviews, observations, journaling, quizzes. They could actually recite them to the teacher at their own speed and time, just to show that they know versus giving them a time test. One more article had some information that talked about time tests communicate to the students and parents that the basic fact proficiency is the goal of the math program, so that it is important that they do learn their basic facts. Also, when assessing fact proficiency, time is important, but doesn't have to be done daily, weekly, or monthly. So really, you just want to make sure they know. So, the validity of them taking it 3 times a week, is it there or not? And there are also disadvantages in memorizing facts with frequent drill and time tests. Because again, we have some kids that don't know the concept of multiplication, but they can spit them out very quickly on a time test and not really understand how they're multiplying. They just know their facts. Okay, my research question was, what effect does daily multiplication time test have on fourth grade retention and multiplication facts? The reasons I did the research was teaching math. I wanted to know if it's beneficial or if it's hurting my students by giving them time tests. Also, I wanted to check the accuracy and efficiency, if that's a valid form of assessing students' basic fact. I want them to know them, but do they have to know them in 3 minutes? I don't know. With daily time tests, students will begin retaining more facts in the time given from the previous test is the goal. That I kind of learned that maybe they didn't really learn them, but they just keep testing and getting the same ones correct, which my data shows that some of them did the same every time. My group was fourth grade students. We had 27 students. There were 14 girls, 12 boys, 3 LL students. Some are doing math interventions and probes, which actually just 2 students are doing that. Based on our January 2016 math scores, we had 11 below grade level, 13 on grade level, and 3 above grade level. Okay, these are the materials I use. Time test, there's the book I got it from, and we use a timer. There's a data sheet that I recorded their scores on, and the things they would need were timer, I needed pencil, and the charts. That's all we needed for this. Students were given the paper, time set for 3 minutes, they were told to go. Paper was then turned over and they began. They answered as many as they could in 3 minutes. At the end of 3 minutes, the timer was stopped. Teacher says stop, pencils are down, papers are collected. I then took up the test, scored them, and recorded how many they got correct on the chart that you saw previously. And that same paper is given 3 times a week. Same facts in the same order. There's a chart, the table, their scores in. The data showed, this is kind of each student. If you notice, 1 through 27 are each of my students, and we got to take the test 4 times. And it shows kind of everybody's results. So each group of 4 kind of shows, hopefully the trend was that they went up each time, but that really necessarily wasn't the case. Some students were absent, meaning they only had 1 or 2 bars. And of course, you can also tell we do have some kids that know most of them. Okay, so looking at the bar graph, we noticed that 3 students went up all 3 times. So do these students already know their facts and are they working on them outside of class? That's kind of a question I had. 2 students went up and then stayed at 100%. Again, thought those kids must know their facts. 12 students went up more than they went down. They may know their facts, but may miss a few here and there because of the time. I know some kids just can't think under pressure that fast, but they maybe do really know their facts. 7 students had an even number of increases as decreases on the test. So they may know their facts, but again, miss a few here or there due to the time constraints. 5 students went down more than they went up. These students may not know them, or they may be guessing at the ones that they keep missing. Only 1 student went down on all 4 tests. So I'm assuming, again, I think they only had 20 something correct, that student. So I'm assuming maybe they need to work outside of class. They don't know their facts. The average score on the 4 tests, the average score was a 63, then it went down the second time we took it to 59, and then it went up the last 2 times, which is what we wanted to see. We kind of want to start seeing our trend go up. I don't know the reason for the decrease. I know we had 3 or 4 days off for snow days. I don't know if that had anything to do with that or not. My analysis for my question is I didn't think that I had hard evidence to answer my research question. And again, I put the research question up there. I don't know the daily effect of the test on the retention of their facts. The time test didn't really have I don't feel like it had a negative or positive effect. The time test didn't have much effect on my students' retention of their facts because it was very sporadic results. So I really don't feel like I could come up with a good, answer to my question. Research showed that more students increased. The lowest percent was 3% that went down. So again, I don't think it really hurt the students to do the time test. 44 went up on more of the tests than they went down. So I do feel like maybe it could have helped some of them, or again, they just know their facts, or even, could be good guessers on some of them. I feel like there needs to be more data we need to be collected, and maybe instruction between each time test, because in 4th grade we don't teach multiplication facts, it's already been taught. So to me, it's just kind of a skill to see if they can keep up with them and if they're working on them outside of class to know them. Some of my students showed that they didn't know any of their facts also, and that was also talked about with the results. Okay, so any thoughts or suggestions you guys would have? Did you feel like time tests did help, didn't help? Do you think, should we not do them? Is this enough information to tell us?
I'm with you. I think there definitely needs to be more data. The 4-time test makes it a little hard to see would they have gone up if there'd been more data points to look at.
Okay, this was just kind of my reflection on the whole question in itself. I had to think about why I would give time tests, if it's a good assessment. It made me come up with a whole plan and to see the whole process through, meaning, what are my materials, what am I testing, what my results showed. And then it kind of really did make me think the value of the task we give, is it valid to give it? Again, if I'd given it more, maybe depending on what I was using it for. Did it really help my students? And with not having the instruction, I don't know that this is probably the best use of my time 3 times a week. How beneficial is the research to my school? So, I've learned that a question, and if you do the plan and see it through, that maybe that could help answer classroom questions or whole school questions. So that was just kind of my own reflection. That is that one. And then the other one was the PLC that you guys took a lovely survey for me, and I have that in here. We're going to just kind of talk about the strengths and weaknesses of what we thought about our PLC. Again, that's our question, strengths and weaknesses of we did the culture shift survey. You each did one. Our group consists of 4 elementary teachers. I included myself in it because I am part of the PLC. We have 2 4th grade teachers primarily and 2 5th grade teachers. And in my graphs, it shows like first initials kind of indicate. So the D and J are both your 4th grade primary, and H and K are your 5th grade primary. And everyone's been teaching for over 5 years. There's a survey we all took. The way I did it was gave everyone a blank survey. I handed it to them. They filled it out, and I went and picked it up. Told them to be as honest as they could with their data. And this is our results. The survey is broken into 5 main categories, and our first category, 4 is the highest, meaning that we are exemplary, and actually we didn't give any exemplaries in our entire group on the entire survey. But we did go with 3s on pretty much all of it except a few areas. So here's one area that school culture, we had a little question here as far as long-term strategic planning to planning for short-term for win-win. So 2 of us thought, that is an area that we are progressing in, and the other 2 of us thought we're proficient. Fundamental purpose, we thought this one was individual teachers with curriculum documents. We switched to engaging collaborative teams in the building. And 2 of us thought we were progressing, 2 of us thought we were proficient there. Shifts of assessment, yay. Assessment, we all feel like we are proficient. Next category, we had a few. Shifts in response when students don't learn. Teacher to school interventions. From individual teachers determining the appropriate response to a systematic response would ensure. So that's kind of the one that 2 of us kind of thought, individual teachers to the school-wide. 2 of us think we're progressing, 2 of us think we're there. Remediation was remediation to intervention during the school day. 1 of us thought we were still progressing on that. Shifts in work, we all thought we were proficient there. Shifts in the focus, input results, goals, teachers to teams, we feel like overall the school is shifting our focus, we felt proficient. Professional development. This one was short-term exposure to multiple concepts and practices to sustain commitment to limited focused initiatives. So 1 of us feel like maybe we are still progressing there. Okay, so out of the 25 questions, only 4 questions weren't rated proficient by all 4 of us. And those were in the areas of school culture, fundamental purpose, and response when students don't learn. 3 questions were rated progressing by half of us and proficient by the other. I kind of went over those, but I put the title there again. 1 question was rated progressing by 25%, and that was the actual 1 question, was remediation to intervention during the school day. These are the 100% of us feel the school is proficient in all of those areas, which yay for us, assessment, professional development, focus, and in the work area. I kind of came up with my own next steps with some of this. As far as the long-term planning to short-term wins, I kind of thought, okay, set school-wide goals, need to be set more, and this has been happening more because we were Leader in Me school, so I feel like we are setting more school-wide goals. So that's kind of helped us, we're progressing in that area. Providing individual teachers with curriculum documents to engage collaborative teams in the building to share knowledge. We need to continue and possibly add more district-wide and school-wide professional developments where school group planning is done. We've kind of got together as school and district and planned curriculum maps and common assessments, which I think helps in that area. Individual teachers determining the appropriate response to a systematic response that ensures support for every student. Principal has set more school-wide guidelines to deal with certain issues. I said a lot of them are now posted in our classrooms. So again, I do feel like we're already making steps for that one to be too proficient because it's more school-wide versus just individual teachers. And the bottom one, remediation to intervention, we do RBI groups. I feel like that's school-wide intervention that's helping take care of that, switching over from remediation to more interventions during the school day. Okay, that was my reflection. I thought, okay, let me stop there. Did you guys have anything else to add to the PLC stuff? What you guys would think? I mean, honestly, feeling that we're progressing, most of us thought we were proficient, and again, progressing, to me, I feel like we're on the right track. If we're not thinking we're already there, thought my next steps kind of got us there, but do you guys agree, disagree?
Well, and I did want to mention, we also, for the interventions during the day, we now have a new job
Yes.
around the school, and she's an interventionalist, so she's able to do those interventions during the day as they're happening. So that's something that's really great going on in our school right now.
So we feel like maybe we changed our mind from progressing to proficient.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's really all with this, the reflection, the PLC thing. The survey was great to just see kind of how we felt honestly about how things are going with our focus in our school. I feel like the next steps are doable, or most of them are already being done in our building. The survey opened the door for discussion and conversations about PLC and school shifts. The biggest obstacles with surveys and discussions in PLCs, which that's why we talked about PLCs, and a lot of people, so it's just hard to find time to do so. The outcome was having PLC members reflecting on the value of PLCs in our school. So do we feel like PLCs help our school? Yes. Okay, and that is it. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Thank you for all this informative information.
Okay.
Nice job here.